Welcome to episode 4 of Modern Marketing TV. Today we have Dries and Yuri, creators of Wasbar, Chez Clair, and many different love brands. And today we're going to discuss what it takes to take a real love brand. Hey, welcome Yuri, Dries. What should people who watch this show know about you?
Oh, wow. I think the most known businesses we started are Wasbar and Chez Clair. We started Wasbar in 2012. We opened 3 venues in 3 years, and after those 3 years we sold to top brands, owner of Pizza Hut and Boulangerie Paul. And then last year, 2018, we started Chez Clair, the Eclairs bakery concept. We opened 3 shops in 1 year, Ghent, Antwerp and Brussels Airport. And we sold last month to La Lorraine Bakery Group.
Yeah. In real life, we're also married, so...
Okay, that's...
we spend a lot of time together.
Okay, that's news for a lot of people, I think. So this is Modern Marketing TV, so I will start with a very open question. Yeah, what is modern marketing for the two of you?
I think modern marketing is very complicated at this point because there's lots going on right now. A few years ago, we had the whole shift in advertising between everything that was like the things we knew, like television and print media, shifted to online media. Now things are starting to change again. Then we had the influencer part. So I think a lot's going on, but after a few years, we start to learn what's really working and what's not. And yeah. I think it's very interesting.
Clear.
I think it's very interesting at this point because I don't think that there is a solid answer for this question.
Okay. Because there is indeed no solid answer, but I just want to see where do you guys go. I have other questions related to that, so let's get back to that later in the conversation. But maybe also let's take one step back and which brands did you actually create? Because everyone knows Wasbar and Chez Clair, and those are 2 very successful cases, which I think I can say you sold both of them, so they were very successful for you. But is that also your goal, to create a love brand or a brand people really like and sell it, or how should we see that?
We never start with the idea to create like a love brand. We want to create a solid brand, because not every brand has to be a love brand for in different types of businesses. It's very difficult to create love brands, but we want to create a solid brand, a brand that is based on a solid storytelling, in which every single aspect fits in the brand and is aligned. And I think it's a goal on this point of view to create a solid brand, but that generates profit on the other hand. So it's very
important.
So wow.
Yeah, I think we do get a kick out of making a brand. It really makes us happy if we see that, like when stuff comes together, like when the puzzle is done, then it makes us very happy, and we really like to keep on searching for the right fit in the puzzle. But as Dries said, it doesn't always have to be a love brand, but just brand building is really what we like. And it's not all about the design or about the product or about the storytelling. It's just everything all together. So we dare to challenge the product. We dare to challenge the way of marketing. We dare to invest more than most companies in interior and the design of the branding. Because we really believe that brands can make a difference in the lives of people. You have the convenience one way, then you have the big premium brands the other way. But we do believe that there's a market in between where you can like really connect those both worlds.
Okay, and how does your creative process work? Because if for example, again, we take Wasbar and Chez Clair as an example, it always looks so simple because you tend to choose like very old industries like a washing salon or an Eclairs bakery. These things have an existence of like many years, but you make it so cool and sexy. what's the way of thinking behind that?
It's because in the end it is very simple, because we always end up with an idea that comes from, in fact, a need or something that we experience that is missing, or something that we think we can make better. So the ideas are quite simple. So
with the
the
Eclairs, for
laundrette,
example, where did the idea take off?
Well, we were thinking that an Eclair is such a simple, well-known Belgian product that is like well-known in France, in Belgium, and it's also exported to UK, US, and Asia. But every single concept we saw that sells Eclairs, in each concept we missed a little bit the experience and the love.
So there we are.
Yeah. So the products were amazing. We tried a lot of Eclairs worldwide, and taste-wise, they were all very, very good. They were all quality proof. But the packaging, the interior design, the stuff, the uniforms, social media, marketing, we were on some points we were missing something that we learned from our first concept from Wasbar. We learned a lot about concepting, about putting the puzzle pieces together to make something that really fits.
All the other concepts we saw, which the product was Eclairs. Apart from the product, nothing really made us happy. So besides getting fed by an Eclair, we were still a bit hungry because we thought that all the concepts were lacking. So then actually it was at a certain point we thought like, it would be funny if you just like would make a concept that really spreads the love and makes you feel happy as soon as you pass by, or you walk in, or you walk out with like your box or your bag. And we were like, we can call it Chez Clair because it's like this game with the word Eclair. But then we didn't do anything with it for 2 years. But it kept on popping in our minds. We were like, whenever we thought about it, we started brainstorming again, and we were like, no, let's not do this. Like, we don't know how to bake an Eclair, so let's just stay far away from stuff like that. But then at a certain point, it just hit us like, come on, it keeps on coming into our lives, so let's just do something with it. And eventually the name stayed the same as the first second we thought about.
Sounds very simple.
Wouldn't it be funny? Yeah.
Okay, cool. And if you guys had to make a checklist for like building the perfect brand, what would be on that checklist? Because you mentioned design, interior design, package design, experience.
I think first of all, you should start off with your product. You should make sure that your product is there, that it's a good product, that's a solid product, and that there's a market for it. You can always you can create a demand for a product, but that will cost a lot of time and a lot of money. So you should always check. From one of my old professors, I learned that there can be a gap in the market, but there should also be a market in a gap. So I think that's something to really think about, because there's a lot of stuff that people say, it's weird that doesn't exist yet, or why didn't anybody else think of it before? But sometimes it's just plain and simple that there's no money in the idea. So that's always, I think that's very hard for especially for starters or people with great ideas to like kill their darlings, because there's no money making in there. I think that's very important to like really to be honest with yourself from the start.
Yeah. Okay, that's also one of my next questions, and because we talked about the success that the concepts like Wasbar and Chez Clair had, were these actually your two main first products, or actually the things that you launched, or were there also other experiments where you, let's avoid the whole discussion around failure, but what were some of the obstacles you ran into, and what were your learnings there?
We really failed a lot, I think. Yeah. With the two concepts, we came in the media, and we got known by our entrepreneurship. But we tried a lot of things before Wasbar and Chez Clair. We were in marketing and advertising before. We worked for publishers, and then afterwards we tried some things. I think our first trial and
big error
for sure was secret sales. Secret Sales was a pop-up stock sale sort of event where people could only invite their best friends, and we would in fact organize an event where people could buy clothes of very high level brands like Dolce & Gabbana, Versace, Prada, on cheap prices, like the overstock of chic boutiques.
Yeah, only last season, so
Yeah.
not stuff from like 5
Yeah.
or 6 years ago.
Premium outlet.
Yeah. And we underestimated the logistic part of it. So we rented a place in Ghent. We rented a truck. We contacted all the stores and the shops. We collected all the collections. We sold everything. We sold quite good.
Very good.
But then everything should get back to its owner. Everything should got invented. Everything, it was a mess. Clothing of the one shop ended up in another store. Clothing got disappeared. It was
People claimed that they were missing like more than 1,000 pieces, and we had no proof that they were lying. So in the end, we ended up paying for everything.
Okay.
So that was quite harsh and
Big
quite
bummer,
a pain in the it was a bummer. But we learned a lot of about it. The good thing about it is that we were very young at that point. I think I was like 20. And the event on its own was a big success. It was a big hit. So I think that's from things like that we like kept on thinking about own products, own brands, own concepts. Yeah. Because it was pretty clear from that time on that we had like a bit of a feeling for it, but just not the logistics part or the money part that we had to learn.
Operations has never been our thing.
No, and that's a big issue for a lot of people. And then on the other hand, you have people who are great at like leading a company or putting up logistics or whatever, but it's very rare to find somebody who's good at both of them. And you have to know your strengths, and you have to find people to lift you up with the things that they are better in at that you are.
Because the next question there will be like, what made that the other concepts, like in the first place Wasbar, did take off and that it made them a success? Yeah, of course it's the experience and the product, but what main learnings made that you succeeded there?
I think one of the major things is like, storytelling is everything, but I think we come back to that later. But I think on the second point, I think it's very important to make something beautiful, because beautiful things make people happy.
And make people love it.
Yeah, so we invested a lot on design. We invested a ton of money on interior design, on packaging design. The furniture in Wasbar, for example, was quite expensive. For like, it was a sort of a simple concept where everything was quite like easygoing. It was like the grandmother's living room, but that wasn't really that simple. We did a lot of research to get the right interior pieces on the right spots, and everything should fit and should had compared to other laundrettes and cafes, it was really important to stand out, and the only major reason to stand out was in sort of design.
Besides from the idea of having a drink and lunch in the same place.
Is that also your background, by the way, design? Because indeed, a lot of the successes you have is like, it looks picture perfect.
No, and that's like one of our big frustrating parts in the things that we do, that we have a lot of ideas, but we don't know how to sketch. We don't know how to work with like this. We're not designers, so I can't even draw a straight line. So, but we have a lot of stuff in our minds. So it's very important also on that side to find the right partner to like communicate with, that they really get what you want to say. And in this point, like for Wasbar and Chez Clair, we both worked with We Want More Studios. So we have this history with them. We've been working with them for 5 or 6 years now. So it took us a lot of time to get to understand each other, but we finally reached that point that we can we can like be a team and work on it together. So that's quite nice. Also, I think one of the other things in the concepts we made is we as a customer, we are not easily satisfied. We often see things that could be done better, especially in customer experience or in service. So I think that's one of the, I think that with Wasbar, that was one of the main differences with a normal laundrette. In a normal laundrette, you just come in, you pay your machine for like this one load, and then you're on your own. And in Wasbar, was the staff that could help you explaining the machines, helping you how to do the laundries, because it was a lot of people that came in for the first time who've never done their laundry before, because usually mama did it. So it was like this experience. It's not only like this convenience part, but also the experience and the help, the friendliness,
Okay.
A funny thing, before Wasbar, we didn't do our laundry neither ourselves.
I think the first load of clothing we put in a machine was 6 days before opening.
Yeah.
How does this thing work?
Yeah.
And then suddenly also you published a book on, someone gave me that book one day. It's on, tips to help young people.
Life hacking.
How to be on your own feet.
Yeah, that's very funny that you guys have, you spoke from a lot of experience then.
Yeah.
Okay. Building up further on that, you guys are also marketing consultants. You do a lot of keynotes. I noticed that you guys are doing a keynote on creating a brand to sell it. But from what I hear, to sell it in 1 year, important one. From what I hear, you guys don't have a design background. I can imagine that the investment of launching a new concept is always on the high side. What would be your advice to people who want to start out there, or people who want to start up with an idea like that?
I think on the investment part, I think it's very important to know that sitting power is king. Before starting an idea with the goal to sell it, I think it's very important to know that you need a little bit of money, and you have to have like a sort of a background or sort of a reserve of money to cope with bad periods, to cope with bad sales, to survive, in fact, to the moment that it hits.
Yeah, most companies aren't profitable in the first 3 years, but you have to pay everything in the first 3 years. So you have to pay your interior, you have to have a stock or whatever product you sell, unless it's a service, but then you need an office and you need staffing to work with. So the first 3 years are really, really harsh. And if you open your business on the first day and you're like, okay, I paid all my dues and now I've got like $100 left or euros left, and let's just do this because from now on I'm gonna start making money. No, you're gonna earn money, but you're not gonna make money because,
of course.
So that's something very important.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so something that's also very that I noticed along all the years with the brands you had is that it looks like you guys don't spend much money, or I'm not saying effort, but for example, I've never saw an ad of Wasbar or Chez Clair, and how does that work? What's your take on that? Because paid marketing is something, it looks so far from the two of you.
Well, in marketing mix, you can have a lot of options. So we chose, for example, for Wasbar, we chose for organic social media and PR. We invested a lot in PR, and for example, the investment we did on interior design paid off in sort of PR, because all the magazines wanted to do some interior shoots. We had some editorial fashion shoots in the interior, so it paid off in publications. So we invested a lot in the design, but it wasn't necessary to pay for paid advertising in magazines, but we got published. On the other hand, times are changing. For example, when we started Wasbar in 2012, Facebook was like, I don't think that there were options to got some paid advertising on Facebook. Everything was like quite organic. So we got organic reach. Everything went quite normal, and we got a lot of interaction and following in the beginning, and then everything started to change, and then you had to pay for advertising, and then we switched to other sorts of marketing, but yeah, for sure we didn't pay a lot for advertising or communication.
I think one of the major advantages that we had as well was that the brand was very much connected to us as a couple, as a duo. And I think that's very important if you want to tell a story, then the company needs to have a face, especially in times like these. On the one hand, you have like the entire e-commerce business that's going on, and on the other hand, you have the small retail companies, or small retail shops, and like they're trying to compete, and the retail is complaining about the e-commerce and the other way around, and then the small retail starts an e-commerce channel as well. But if you want to like not be like this big holding or a big concern, then you need to have a face, and it doesn't have to be the owner or the CEO, but the company needs to have a face, and you have to tell the story through that face. I think that's where we were very lucky with both companies, that we really linked ourselves to the product and to the company.
And is that something you'd say that happens very natural, or is it? Can you share some tips there to people who are now starting up or building a brand to start doing that? Because storytelling is very intensive, and it's.
I think everyone has a story. You have a story, otherwise you wouldn't be there at that point. So there's a reason why you started a company. There's like this. You have your own history, and in some ways that can be enough. Like if you have this web shop, just put a little bio in there with a picture of yourself, with a little bit of your background. It doesn't need to be more than that. But then people know that they're buying a product from a person and not from this multinational billion-dollar company.
Okay. I know you guys also work quite a lot with some agencies. What are for you the deciding factors to choose an agency? Because I can assume that you guys want to work with the best ones, and you actually do that. For example, for PR, maybe storytelling.
It's very... it's really necessary to get to know yourself very well and very, very good, and to know where you're good at, and to choose your battles and to do something you're really good at. Everybody can do a lot of things. You can make your website on your own if you want to. You can do your interior design yourself if you're like trend watching and you have some capabilities, but you only have 24 hours a day, and that's not a lot. So it's very necessary to know where you're good at, and on which aspects of business you're better than, or mediocre better than like other people, and to do that like full time, and to ask other people who are better at that sort of aspects of business to do the other things. And so in the beginning, we didn't had any time for PR or social media. So then we hired a PR agency. So, but time went well, and we got everything, we got our shit together. So at that point at that point, we decided to start doing our PR ourselves with success. So then on that point, other companies started to ask us to do their PR too. So we started a PR agency. So that was a time when Ambassy popped up. We worked for like a lot of well-known national brands. But I think can we tell it yet? Or
I think so.
Last week we merged Ambassy with another well-known big PR agency, so that we have more time to be creative and to help other brands with their strategic operations.
Okay.
And
with a Belgian PR agency.
Yeah.
But in choosing an agency to work for you, I think we really like agencies that have like focused on a kind of a niche. So when we started our Wasbar in 2012, then we had Saskia from The Wicked PR who helped us with the launch. So she's very focused on everything that's like in food.
Yeah, food.
Yeah, she's really big in food PR. So the match was simple. So now with Ambassy, we were kind of focusing on travel. But since the merge, we have a few niches that we're coping with, that we're covering. But like we want more studios when we work together for the design. They're really well known for their retail and hospitality designs.
Yeah.
So you have to choose. We don't like agencies that tell you, oh, we can do everything. We can do your PR, we can do your storytelling, and we can do your branding, and we will do your design, and we can even help you with your product. That's bullshit. Or if like an agency like that truly exists, then it will cost you so much money that your business will never be profitable. So we believe in studios and agencies that really focus on a certain goal.
Okay, so you merged. Are you guys still active in Ambassy then, or?
Yeah, we have some creative and strategic role now for the whole company. So not only for our former clients, but yeah, we have some spare time now for our.
So you guys do a lot of consulting as well. Is that mainly on branding then, or should we see that more on influencers?
No, we focus on brand building and on concepting. So we help other starting or innovating brands with tweaking their concept, tweaking their design, tweaking their branding, and we focus really hard on customer experience, because that's something we ourselves we find it very, very important to be happy in a place. So we help other brands to make their customers happy again.
Okay, yeah. Going back to influencer marketing, it's a topic I want to discuss a small bit. For you, if you launch a brand or you are building your brand, how big is the importance of working with influencers for you, or what's the opportunity in there?
Yeah, there's also the question, what's an influencer, right? I think we're like on the verge where stuff is getting explained or is getting clear. We like people that truly have an influence on some kind of people, but we don't really like the people that want to be an influencer.
Give them free stuff for reach.
Yeah, there you go. So either you have influence on people, or you want to be an influencer, but we think that are two totally different things.
I agree with the first one. Indeed, I think you guys are influencers yourself, because probably a lot of people that follow you and see that you are wearing a certain watch or drinking a certain drink, that these people want to check that brand out. I can imagine that. Have you ever worked with people like that, and how do you structure that?
So with Ambassy, we do collabs with people that have influence or influencers or whatever. But for us, the main reason to connect a brand with a person is that either there already should be a bond between the brand and a person, or it should be a match made in heaven. We don't want to have somebody, we don't want to pay somebody to tell that a certain product is great, because it makes no sense. Either you love the product, and then it's very important to have people with influence telling about the products they're loving, or you just choose somebody else. But we think it's bollocks to pay people a few €1,000 to say something that they really don't think themselves.
Yeah, okay. I completely agree. That's a nice argument on that one. Okay, we already discussed quite a lot of things, and I think everyone who's watching or listening can agree that you guys have like a lot on your plate, and you're doing like all kinds of different things at the same time. But how do you make sure that you keep focus, and especially that you keep productive?
Wow.
Can you explain the word focus?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's even more difficult because we're married, so we're like 24/7 together. So we tried to get our work-life balance like in balance.
Keep it healthy.
Yeah, but it's not easy, because in creativity, the best ideas pop up when you're like yeah, very relaxed, or when you're having fun, or when you're on the beach, or when you're, but mostly not when you're sitting behind your desk.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very difficult to have like a work-life split and then make the sort of discussion that we don't talk about business when we're at home, but that really doesn't work, because our best
It almost
ideas,
got us divorced
Yeah.
because we were like constantly fighting because we had nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
We don't have any kids, so our business is our life.
Yeah.
So
So that's what you mean with a workation, sparking ideas the whole time.
Well, workation, in fact. So since we sold Chez Clair, and since we focused on the Jongens for brand building and concepting, we were asked by like a hotel in Aruba to work for them. So we were there like last week, and that worked well.
How does a hotel in Aruba end up with two guys from Ghent, I think?
yeah, we're from Ghana. We were there last year. We were visiting the hotel because we also wrote some articles for the for het Nieuwsblad,
Because
newspaper.
you're also travel bloggers? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't really know what focus is, but so after we got back from that trip, these two girls, Kimberly and Stephanie, they contacted us and they were like, we saw what you guys are doing in Belgium. We had no idea, and like we were expanding the hotel, and we would really like for you guys to come and help us out with the communication and the customer experience. So yeah, well, if they ask you to go to Aruba, then you take the plane and you go to Aruba.
It takes some serious guts to say no to that. Okay, yeah, work-life balance. We talked about that. I have two more practical questions. Since we're going to the end of this conversation, let's say you have to give some advice to starting entrepreneurs or just entrepreneurs in general who are launching a new brand. What would those tips and tricks be?
Trust your gut feeling.
Okay, it's a bold statement.
I think that's a very important one.
And ask for advice, but do your own thing. Is really important, because if we should have followed all the advice we got, we didn't do anything of the things we've done.
But on the other hand, I do think that there's no such thing as bad advice, because all advice is good, but you don't have to follow the advice. Sometimes something you think is bad advice, if you flip it around, it gives you great input. So you should hear everyone out, but you have to trust your own.
I think something. Yeah, I think it's also very important to take care of yourself, because it's very easy after you sold businesses to say that you have to take care, but on that time when everything was like very busy and we worked 7 days a week, like 24/7, at some point you break. People aren't made for working like 60 hours a day, 7 days straight. You have to take your weekends off. You have to take at least 1 day in a week for yourself, and to do something completely different than the things you're doing for business. Because
I also think you shouldn't get blinded by the bigger companies, such as if you want to start something in retail, don't get scared by McDonald's or whatever, or don't try to be McDonald's within 5 years. You need to grow slowly.
Yeah, take baby steps.
Okay. Because like if you grow too fast, then you're growing with all your flaws. You take them along. So it's really important to first feel your concept, to test it out, to make sure that you don't lose that much money. And once you've reached that point, then you should start growing. But I don't think that it should be the focus of a startup to be big within the first 3 years.
No. On the other hand, I find it really important to like on the operations part, that it's quite necessary that even in your first venue, everything is like organized as if you have like 10 venues, because then it makes your growth very easy. Even in our first shop, everything was organized. Our data was captured. Our our cashier system was like growth proof, and I think it's very important to be growth proof and even to organize your monkey proof, because staffing is something very, very difficult, and if you can't in fact expect that people who work for you they do it like on the same way that you do it. So to create everything very monkey proof, that everything is like written out, that every procedure and every single step that has to be made in the concept is like documented, and I think it's very important.
Yeah, sounds pretty boring, but it's very important. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks. Very clear answers. Since we're at the end of the conversation, I want to ask you guys 5 more very tiny questions. You can answer very, very short, and it's just to give people some inspiration. Okay. So the first one there would be, what is your favorite brand?
My favorite brand, it's the first thing that pops into my mind, but it's a person. It's Ellen DeGeneres. I think she's a great brand on her own. I love what she stands for, and I love what she's accomplished through the years. Yeah.
Okay, I like the fact that you use a person. Everyone is like Apple or Tesla or Nike, but yeah.
I don't know why. It was the first thing that popped into my mind. So
it makes you stand out. So cool.
Yeah, the first thing, but it's very dull and also a little bit arrogant because we work for it, but it's like the city of Ostend.
Okay.
Because I like city marketing a lot, and I like it how a city can attract people with communicating and so.
Yeah, also how they do it. Yeah.
Can you give an example of that? Maybe very short.
It's very strange, and it's not strange, but it's impressive to see where they come from. Like 5 or 6 years ago, everybody thought it was like this gray, shabby city at the seaside. If you didn't have to be there, then you wouldn't go there. And now it became like this place where everybody wants to be. So it's very nice to see how.
And what made the change? Because you mentioned communication, but
I think it's communicating a lot and organizing a lot of campaigns, but like on very different sort of type of customers, and also focus on art, focus on
input as well.
Yeah.
They search a lot of input from the people of Ostend, but they also go outside. Like we work for them, and we live in Ghent, so they like to have different visions. They're not like one of these cities that are like, okay, so this is a plan for the next 5 years, and we're not going to change anything about it. Even if the world goes down, we're gonna stick to the plan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're really fast. It's a very young team, full of ambition. So I think I think the people are the key.
Okay.
I think they're always one step ahead.
Okay,
so
that's a cool. Very nice one. Okay, my next question would be, who's your favorite marketer? And you can't use each other.
It's Yuri Vandenbogaerde.
I only know like very few. I think Polle de Maagd.
Ah, okay, I know him. I like him as well.
He's one of our best friends, and I think
he's amazing. Yeah, he's a very good speaker as well.
Yeah, and he's so sharp.
Yeah,
he's very sharp.
He used to work for KLM, huh?
Yeah, he still does.
He still does. Okay.
But the thing is, we're very stubborn. We don't really look what's out there and what the big marketeers are saying or the big companies are trying to do. We try to keep that stubbornness because it keeps us thriving. And maybe that's one of the reasons why people think that, how do you come up with that? Because we trust our own thoughts and our own gut feeling. We get a smack in the face once in a while, but hey.
Okay. You want to mention one?
Well, I agree with what Yuri says, because I really it's very difficult, because when you have to call like a marketeer for a brand, it depends. Sometimes I knew a lot of marketeers who were extremely good at their job for like one brand, and then they changed to another brand and they sucked. So
okay. Yeah.
Let's not be calling names right now.
No. Let's not do that. No. Okay, let's go to the next question. Let's do that. What's your favorite marketing book? Come on, guys.
Okay. I bought 4 books before we left for Aruba because we were going to take some time off, but we just kept on working. So I think I read like 25 pages.
And which books did you buy?
How to Be a Pirate.
The pink one I bought as well.
Yeah, because that's like, I love...
You like the cover.
Yeah, I like the cover, and I was like, hey, I had this feeling that it would fit me, because I think it's comparable to what we do. And then if you hear like how Elon Musk does it, because that's what's on the back cover, so it was like, okay, nice, I want to hear that story, because maybe I can learn from it, but I only read 25 pages.
I ordered yesterday a book, The Art of Hospitality, with some major cases of best case example of hospitality, because there's something we want to focus a little bit more on. But for and the same answer of Yuri, on the other hand, when we're together, we talk a lot, and we are discussing a lot of things. So we're not that sort of people that are lying next to each other with a book. So.
We would love to, though, because we keep on buying books, but we never read them.
So next question is, what would be your number one marketing trend for the next 10 years, the biggest game changer?
I think it's not a game changer. It's something that there has been like forever, but it's gaining importance more and more. It's authenticity. I think people buy good stories if they believe it, and if it's told in an honest and true way, and everything.
It is a game changer, because not many brands are doing it. So
no, it's about emotion as well. I think it's like very close to each other. You have to feel that a brand is trustworthy. It has to make you happy. It should give you a good time, or at least give you comfort in a way. So I think everything that's linked to emotion.
Okay, great. And then the last question is, what would be your favorite marketing campaign of all time?
Campaign I can remember that did its job very well, but it's the main proof that the product has to be on point if you do a lot of marketing. It's Fire Festival. Guys did their
at least people believed.
Yeah,
lovely.
Guys did their campaign very well. It was sold out like in 1 hour. Yeah, but the product sucked, so it failed a lot. But
the marketing did its job.
I think it also tells you that you shouldn't overspend on marketing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And overpromise.
Yeah. Okay.
Fire Festival. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Then I want to thank you guys for being part of the show for the episode. So
thanks for having us.
Very cool to have you and to finally meet you. And I want to thank you for watching the 4th episode of Modern Marketing TV. And I want to invite you to subscribe to our channel or to follow us on Spotify. And then I'll see you next week. Thanks again, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.